We are here today to discuss a new directive from our West Fargo Metro. It's called Stay Home, Save Lives. I have 5 main points I'd like to discuss with you today. Number 1, this is a pandemic unlike any other crisis. In a flood, we can reasonably predict how the conditions will impact the future crests thanks to so many years of experience. This is an entirely different challenge. We do not have 100 years of reports to predict the COVID-19 beast. We do, however, have the ability to affect the duration of this viral curve and the number of people infected. This will and is more serious than floods. Many people are losing their lives in the United States, including people in our county. Healthcare systems across the nation are being overwhelmed. Our local economy is already being severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 2, required 100% activation. In a flood event, 2 to 5% of our residents physically volunteer to produce sandbags. But if we failed in a flood, every person in Fargo will be affected. COVID-19 pandemic, however, requires 100% of our residents to activate themselves to minimize this local disaster, which is already impacting every person in our metro. I need 100% engagement. This is not never leave your house order. Instead, I'm trusting each of you to be North Dakota smart, as Governor Burgum has directed. We are standing here today in full support of North Dakota statewide efforts. By using these local orders, we are supporting Governor Burgum's work by issuing specific guidance to the residents of Fargo and West Fargo to make sure everybody is taking this as seriously as possible. This is important. I'm asking you to think twice before you leave your home. Be smart when you do things. When you need to go get groceries, do it in a reasonable way. There's no reason to turn a trip into a social excursion or a hoarding food exercise. When grabbing takeout from one of our great local restaurants, be respectful of the restaurant employee who is seeing dozens of people every day. Keep physical distance between you and them and wear a mask at that encounter. Number 3, you can be a lifesaver. In many national crises, we feel helpless as we cannot offer direct assistance. In this situation, we can make a difference, especially in a rural state like North Dakota. We've seen differences in modeling with some projections of 30% community infection rate in North Dakota and others projecting 80% community infection. We need to engage in much more this much more than wishful thinking to keep this infection rate much closer to the lower percentage of community spread. We can and should put these measures in place immediately. Following the new CDC guidelines and beginning wearing masks when you make essential trips outside your home in order to protect you and those around you. Masks are not meant to take the place of physical distancing and good hand washing hygiene, but they can be valuable as an additional strategy to slow down the spread of COVID-19 virus. Our frontline defenses against the virus are our healthcare professionals, public health experts, and our first responders. It is important to remember that these people could actually be the same ones we are encountering when we are purchasing groceries or going to the pharmacy. Wearing these masks protects our front line's defense by allowing them to stay healthy so they can save lives, maybe even your own. Number 4, save our summer. Even though you are young and experiencing no symptoms, you could be a carrier and infecting people all around you, all ages. We are seeing that 55% of COVID-19 positive cases are under the age of 40. We're clearly not getting through to you, so let's personalize this a little bit more. You likely enjoy your summers in the Red River Valley and everything they entail. Think about these events: outdoor concerts at the Blue Stem, Red Hot Games, Downtown Street Fair, Happy Harry's Rick Fest, TEDx, Red River Valley Fair, the 4th of July festivities, just to name a few. We could all miss out on these events if we are still in a period of social distancing because the virus is running rampant. The only things that determine whether or not we still in a period of social distancing is you. And if we can get this virus handled, we can have a great summer. So how do we get COVID-19 under control? Well, there are many unknowns about this virus, but one thing we do know, without human contact, the spread of COVID-19 will cease. Did you know Fargo is even known as the city of parks. And I'll tell you, I love our parks more than anyone. But for the next month, we cannot have what I saw last week. With 10 people who otherwise wouldn't have had contact with each other, were getting together for a basketball game at Island Park. This close contact is dangerous right now. If one of those 10 people were a carrier and did not know it, that person could infect other players. Each of them can infect an additional 16. That's how this spreads to 160 people. Because of one game of pickup basketball. Know that social distancing is critically important. And number 5, we the people can end this crisis. Your city, state, and federal governments can and are putting substantial resources and personnel into place to respond to COVID-19. We are trying to attack this threefold. 1, by community education, 2, by prevention, and 3, by thorough treatment. The government alone, however, cannot solve this crisis. We, the people, are the ones who can mitigate the spread in the community. All of this is for nothing if our people continue to be carriers and transmitters of this virus. As a physician, as a father, as a husband of a frontline nurse, as a Fargo COVID-19 incident commander, and as your mayor, I feel it is my duty to issue a stay home, save lives directive at this time.